You want to know what I heard today that absolutely just ruined my day? Oh, this is super tilted. So, not yesterday, 2 days ago, my sister and her husband, the two of them went to the doctor. They had blood drawn, and supposedly my brother-in-law had sperm drawn as well. They went to the doctor because they want to conceive. They want to have a baby. They want to have a kid. But they've been trying and trying and trying, but no luck. So the other day they went to the doctor, drew blood, and and we're still waiting for the results. Hold on, I gotta reply to a text. Hold on, I'm still replying to a text. Anyways, so the two of them went to the doctor the other day to conceive. To find out what's the problem with them trying to conceive. And then, my mom, she was just like, they've already passed the age where it's best to have kids. Because they are at 30's doorstep. Almost. They're just about to hit 30. My mom told me that the best age gap for a girl to have kids, or, her body to be able to have kids, is from the age of 16 to 26. Now, obviously, not that low, because laws are put in place, so 18 to 26. That is what my mother says is the best age gap, the healthiest age gap for a girl's body to be able to have kids. I already knew ahead of time, because my parents, not my dad, my mom and sister wouldn't shut up about it, how it's worse for the health, for I guess both the woman and the baby, if pregnancy happens past the age of 30. Like, it's nothing too bad, but still, it's better to have kids at a younger age for health. So yeah, that's the age gap I was told is best to have kids, anywhere from like 18 to 26. And well, that just ruined my day, because I am borderline on 26's doorstep. I'm not there quite yet, there's still a good amount of time, but time goes fast. Time moves on fast. Before I know it, I'll be 26 and then, no kids, no partner, no anything. Remember what I said beforehand? How this kind of knowledge has been drilled into my head and now it's like, oh, fuck. So, hold on. Anyway, so, remember what I said before, how women my age are already looking for partners, looking to settle down, looking to have kids and start a family? Well, Yeah, I'm kind of not in that loop, if you know what I mean. So, all the women my age who are already looking, already trying to find the right mans to settle down with, well, by the time anything happens with me, it'll be too late because they have all already settled down. Fuck my life, man. And remember the example I said before. Let's say a girl has 1 year of a relationship to determine if this is the right person to marry or not, to have kids, yada yada yada. Well, if you're with someone for a year and it doesn't work out, well, you just wasted a year. Now you have to go back out there, find someone else. The clock is ticking, time is running out. And then multiply that potentially by like 5, trying to find the right guy 5 times. None of it worked out. Well, that's like 5 years gone. You're in your mid-20s and now you're borderline in your 30s. Right? I'm not in that loop. Shit. If I were to meet someone in the future, maybe a decade from now, I wouldn't want a huge age gap. Like, I don't want someone who... I don't want to settle with someone who is like 5 or 10 years younger than me. I could, because a decade from now, that's totally legal. It's weird to have that big of an age gap, but it is legal. Because a decade from now, I'll be like in my mid-30s. But just hearing that basically ruined my day. To know that time is ticking, and I'm still at the starting line, let's say. You want to hear something else, too? So, I brought this up to friends of mine in our group chat. Hold on, let me pull up the chat logs. Anyways, my friend literally Googled this too. He Googled, average age of marriage in Canada? And then the AI answer prompt at the front of Google said 30.7 years old. So like 31 years old is the average age for marriage in Canada. At this point, I don't even want to find someone because I'm down bad or desperate. It's more so because time is ticking and the window of opportunity will be missed. And none of these fools I talk to know what I'm talking about because they don't see it firsthand. I see, before my eyes, it playing out in real time. I see my sister... Well, actually, I shouldn't phrase it like that. I was about to say, I see my sister try to have kids in real time. It's like, maybe that's not the right phrasing. I see my sister struggle to conceive. Actually, that may be worse. You know what I mean. I have to be the one who has to hear all of her bitch moaning all the time on, damn it, brother, why is it so hard to get pregnant? I just want a kid. And then it gets really annoying whenever it's like, I'm sad. My period came. I gotta hear all that. None of these fools I talk to have to hear that, because none of them have a sister. Anyways, my friend replied like, no, all I see is you really, really, really want to start a family. So I replied, what's wrong with that? That'd be nice. He said, you want that picturesque family that the American propaganda has sold you. Single detached house, a dog, white picket fence out front. And I still replied, what's wrong with that? That'd be nice. The American dream. Despite being here in Canada. It's like, yeah, the American dream does sound nice. You know? Imagine that. A home, a wife, 1 or 2 kids, a dog. What's wrong with that, The American dream sounds nice. I mean, what's the alternative? The Chinese dream, son becomes doctor? Is that the Chinese dream? Be disappointed if daughter, son equals doctor? Is that the Chinese dream? Oh, you know what? Speaking of Chinese, so earlier tonight on TV, they were broadcasting I think it was the 58th anniversary of TVB. Well, they called it birthday. 58 years of TVB. Can you believe that? And then they had this, like, very big dance number with a bunch of women dressed in red. It was very nice to look at. It was very beautiful visuals. In fact, I can freaking link it down below because I found it. I found the clip online. I found it on the TVB YouTube channel. I assume it's the official channel. Now, you know me. I don't care to watch TVB. I don't pay attention. I only gave it my gaze for the plot. I watched to enjoy what I was seeing, let's say. Man, what's funny is I also shared this to the same group of friends. He's like, why can't you just be normal? Sent a gif of that. I said, hey, I am normal. TVB made sure I grew up straight. Man, I saw that joke earlier. It's like early 2000s cartoons made sure boys grew up straight. I swear to God, look up old cartoons. We don't have none of those nowadays. Now it's all gay bullshit. My friend said, man's pitching a tent in the middle of the living room. And I said, nah, thanks to the internet, I can enjoy in privacy. So how's everyone doing tonight? Yeah, my day was kind of ruined hearing that earlier today, how the age window is slowly closing. Fuck my life. Man, you know the sad part is too, all of my struggles, all of my how do I phrase this? You know what? No better way to phrase it than just up front. My mental issues, none of it matters, you know? In the grand scheme, I don't matter. Not just on this planet with my lifetime. In the grand scheme of the universe, you know, I am just a tiny speck that has no impact at all at existence. You know, I'm not going to be someone who leaves a mark on this world within my lifetime. So, any of my struggles don't mean squat. None of it matters. Not like anybody cares, you know? So that makes it extra unimportant. But enough about me. Anyways, speaking of space, have you guys heard the news about that, like, that thing in space that flew behind the sun? That potential aircraft? It's like Atlas 31. What's it called? Oh, no, 31 Atlas. And then there's some sort of documentary coming out in a couple days on what, Prime Video? That government officials actually just straight up revealed we have indeed made contact with extraterrestrial life. Now, I would love it if it would be confirmed that aliens do exist. I would absolutely love it. But I've heard the song and dance before, you know? I'll believe it when I see it. And I don't even mean like see an actual alien in front of me. No digital screen in the way. I mean like actual confirmation, real confirmation. Straight up, the government saying, yes, here are aliens, they are real. Here's pictures of it too, and footage. Like they don't hide it anymore. Multiple places are reporting the same thing, like it's actually legit. I'll believe it when I see it. You know, speaking of rumors and stuff, so there's a rumor that Bully Maguire himself is going to show up and put some dirt in Doctor Doom's eyes. That Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is going to show up in Avengers Doomsday. That'd be amazing if it happened. Oh, you know what that reminded me of too, saying his name? Not only did hearing that news earlier just ruin my day, it made it worse, because you know what today is? Today is November 19th. Today marks 3 months on the day since Toby passed away. 3 months has passed. You know, past couple of weeks, we've had a couple days with snow. It's not the same anymore, because whenever there would be fresh snow on the ground, Toby used to just lie down on his side, roll around in it. He would love to play in the snow. If the snow was really high, he would just jump straight in. Seeing him hop around in the high snow. I remember one time, he played outside in the snow so much for so long that when he came in, there were giant snowballs formed on his belly, and you couldn't just rip it off. It was frozen to his fur, so I had no choice but to just take him downstairs to the basement bathtub, put on some warm water, and just melt the snow off. Three months has passed already. So anyways, I finished my ZA Pokédex. Like you can see here. You can see here that I have my ZA Dex done. Almost. I'm in the process of evolving the other Salamence into a other Bagon. Jesus. Shieldon. Shelgon. Jesus Christ. I'm in the process of evolving the second Shelgon into a Salamence. I even got Diancie too, but I'm done the Dex, because if you see here, I do have an Alpha Salamence. So, my Dex is done. Now, we wait for the DLC, which will come out in like 3 weeks. Can I please get Shiny Giratina before 3 weeks pass? Can I please get Shiny Giratina before the DLC drops? So today we only have 3 shows to go over. Peacemaker, Gen V, and Has-Been, because there's no new episode of Welcome to Derry just yet. I think all 8 episodes of Hazbin Hotel has came out. Like, the season is done. Season 2 is done, I think. Great, more stuff to talk about. I know you guys just want me to get to Chainsaw Man. Audio is being picked up, right? Yep. I am also this far away. And I currently have this many battles done. You know, when I heard that you needed 1,000 battles, I didn't know the previous count of battles you had carried over. I thought you'd just start from 1,000 clean. So, when I found that out, I'm just like, what's the big deal? Why is everyone online complaining about 1,000 battles? You know? I strategically, after finishing the main story, I completed the Pokédex. Or I caught everything. And then, I strategically used this, you know? During the 1,000 battles, my plan was to evolve everything I needed to evolve, grind for money, and grind for this infinite ZA Royale, so it all worked out for me. I don't know what the hell y'all were complaining about. Oh right, Mega Zeraora was revealed today. I hope you guys still have your shiny Zeraora distributions. I sure do. Finally, a use for it. I don't even know where I put it. If it's in home or if it's in my Sword and Shield. I think it's in my Sword and Shield. So, Zeraora, Mega Zeraora, it was leaked long ago. Now we know for a fact that it's real. Oop. Didn't something else happen? Oh yes, that's right, the Moana trailer. I didn't even know that the trailer came out. The first teaser trailer for the live-action Moana came out 2 days ago, and it got super ratioed. When I saw the trailer, I was thinking, this doesn't even look real. This is meant to be a live-action remake that no one asked for. It looks not real whatsoever. In fact, to me, it looked like really high-quality animation. It looks so vibrant, it looks so fake, it doesn't even look live-action. So it's like, why call it live action when only like 5% of the movie is actually live action? Everything else is CGI. Hell, it almost borderline looks AI generated. How crazy is that? You know, I never saw the Moana films. Maybe I should. I hear they're good, I just never was really interested to actually watching it. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. Hell, it took me, what, 4 years to watch Frozen 2? So, news also did come out today that the third Knives Out movie is going to be dropping on Netflix soon. Actually, when is the release date? Because the official trailer came out. November 26th. That is in... That's next week. That's a week from now. Great. I enjoyed the first Knives Out movie. In fact, I would say the first Knives Out movie has been the best so far. Second one wasn't bad. Glass Onion wasn't bad. It's just I felt more of the magic in the first one. So here's hoping that the third one is going to be as good. We also got the second trailer for Project Hail Mary. That actually looks like a pretty good film. When I saw the trailer for it in theaters, I even thought to myself, this looks pretty good. I kind of want to check this out. Oops. But Project Hail Mary isn't coming out until next year, so we still got time for that. Wasn't there more movie news? Wasn't there something else that came out? Geez, why can't I think about it? There's something else that happened. Oh, right. The Zelda movie. The Legend of Zelda movie. We got our first photos for Link and Zelda. They don't look bad. I'll tell you that. They don't look bad at all. Now, Link, he doesn't have the hat, nor does he really have anything. He doesn't have a sword, no shield, no bow and arrow, no hat. So I wonder if he's gonna get them throughout the film. We see Zelda in her, what looks like her champion's tunic inspired uniform, her clothes, and then Link is in his green outfit. Man, remember when everyone was fan casting Tom Holland to play Link? That would have been so hilarious. But, yeah. We see Link and Zelda in live action, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty Breath of the Wild inspired, but we'll have to see what they take inspiration from. Because it's an adaptation. It's not going to be a direct game to film. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Mario movie. Also, one of the cast members may have been leaked, as in, like, who this actress is playing. Dai-Chen Lachman, or Lackman, however you pronounce her last name. Dai-Chen, she seems to maybe be playing Impa. Do I see her as Impa? I could, yeah. I mean, there's no, What I'm trying to say is we've seen Impas with both light and dark complexions. She had darker complexions in Skyward Sword, but she also had lighter complexions in, say, Ocarina of Time. In... Well, I'm thinking of her design in Age of Calamity. You know, I still kind of question, though, like... While I'm happy we're getting a live-action Legend of Zelda movie, because fans of the franchise, that's a pretty big deal. I can't help but wonder, wouldn't animated have been better? Imagine video game cutscenes, but a full film. Wouldn't that have been nice? Oh well, we're getting what we're getting. Anyways, shall we start talking about some of these shows? Remember, the sooner we get through all of these shows, the sooner we get the Chainsaw Man. Nothing else happened, right? Nothing else I should report on? You know, for a second I was wondering, did I even do the dishes tonight? Yeah, I did. I can't even remember if I did them or not. You know, people were also concerned about the Zelda movie being woked up. Because Zelda is in front of Link with her weapon, with her bow and arrow, but Link is behind her with nothing. People online were worried the movie was going to be woked up. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I feel like they wouldn't want to go the video game route. They'll probably do the same route they did with the first Mario movie, where they probably don't want in the movie for the princess to get got, but instead, the two will work together. I think that would probably fit the film better. Like, well, as sad as it is in modern day for the Mario movie, if Bowser were to kidnap Peach and then Mario has to go save her, that probably wouldn't be the best look on film compared to the game. So, same thing, if Ganondorf has Zelda, if Ganon is even gonna be in this film, that probably isn't gonna be the best look on film. So having the two of them work together towards whatever the plot of the film is, yeah. I really want to know what adaptations they're doing. What they're picking, they're cherry picking from which game. Like, I don't think they're gonna do the 7-year time jump with Ocarina of Time. I don't know, maybe they could have hints of, like, Link's uncle, kind of like in Link to the Past. Maybe they could have mentions of Lorule. I actually, never mind. I think Lorule would be a little too soon for the first film. Yeah, the Twilight is probably too soon to do for the first film as well. They're clearly not adapting Wind Waker, let's be clear, or Majora's Mask, or Skyward Sword. There's only so many that they could realistically take from for the first game. What? For the first film. And you know what the beauty of this is? In a way, which I actually would not be mad at. Normally, I hate recasting. I absolutely hate it when the character gets recast, because that just brings you out of the immersion. But in this case, I wouldn't mind if we have like a dozen Legend of Zelda movies, and majority of them have different actors portraying the characters. Because every single Zelda game, Link and Zelda look similar enough, but they still look different. They're the same character by name, but in universe they're completely different people. So they could go the route the games do, where each film takes place centuries apart, where it's a reincarnation of the previous characters. That's why they look slightly different, but it is still the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero. I think that'd be pretty cool. We can have a prequel that is a Skyward Sword movie. We could have a sequel that is a Twilight Princess movie. The potential is there. All Nintendo has to do is do it, and do it right. Anyways, let's start talking about these shows, because, you know, time is ticking, just like with my life. So, let's talk about Peacemaker real quick. And, is this episode 5? I could have sworn we were further in than that. No, it is episode 6. Okay. Alright, so episode 6 of Peacemaker Season 2. We're almost done. We got 2 episodes left. I see here episode 8 is titled Full Nelson. Oh my god. So episode 6 opens up with Chris, now in the alternate universe, having finished fighting that kaiju. He, his brother, and dad are eating at a diner along with Harcourt. So this is right after the scene that ended the last episode, where Chris met up with the Harcourt doppelganger. They're having a bite, and then a couple of kids come over asking for a picture. So, yeah, they're ecstatic. They're super excited to take a picture with some kids. So, Amelia stands up, takes a picture for them, and then we see the picture, and then for some reason the picture starts distorting. For some reason, like their faces droop down as if it was a horror film. I don't know what that was about. That was a weird detail, and it's never touched upon too. Anyway, so we cut back to all our characters in the main universe, the DCU. And they plan to go to Adrian's house. Because Argus doesn't know Adrian, or they don't know Vigilante's true identity as Adrian Chase. So, they won't know that, like, they use that device to start up the portal in Adrian's house, they won't come. You know, they won't know what's happening. So then they go in, and Adrian warns that his mom is a super biatch. At first, when they entered, she seemed like a nice lady. And it kind of seemed like Adrian was just being moody for no reason, being mean to his mom for no reason. He just kept like, Mom, leave! I told you you can't follow. Go! Get out of here! Mom, shut up! Stop saying everything! Like, it seemed like he was being mean to his mom for no reason. But then his mom just kept on talking, and then you kind of side with him. You're kind of like, why are you saying all this? Yeah, I'm now siding with Adrian. Please stop talking. This is stuff you should not be saying. Because she reveals what Adrian has been saying to her. She goes up to Harcourt, or Hardcore, as she thought her name was. She's just like, no, everyone gets that confused. It's not Hardcore, it's Harcourt. And then Adrian's mom is just like, oh, it's so nice to finally meet you. Adrian's beautiful girlfriend. Stuff about, like, embarrassing things that turns out Adrian has been saying about Harcourt. Like, she's super slutty. And I'm just like, yeah, Adrian, please, I can see why you are so fed up with your mom. She just would not stop talking. And no matter how much Adrian's just like, please, stop talking, she just kept on talking. It's like, holy shit, lady. Anyway, so they go to Adrian's basement where, you know, he has like 3 different locks to get in. Not only is this where he keeps his vigilante suit, this is where he keeps all of his, like, contraband, you could say. Whenever Vigilante takes down a drug ring or whatever, a criminal enterprise or whatever, he takes all the drugs and blood money and keeps it for himself. Not to use, but just to make sure no one else gets it. So in his basement, not only does he have piles upon piles upon piles of cash, he also has, like, probably tens of thousands of dollars worth of drugs and cocaine. And to the point where Adebayo is just like, bro, you said you were broke. You asked me to pay for your breakfast. You have so much money down here. And he's just like, I can't use this stuff. This is all blood money. What are you, crazy? And then the 3 of them just start pocketing as much as they can while Adrian's not looking. I would do the same. I don't give a damn if it's blood money. I'm taking it and I'm pocketing that shit. Talk to me about some being broke. I gotta pay for your breakfast when you have tens of thousands of dollars literally at your fingertips. So, not only does he have all that stuff in his basement, he also has a little closet full of stuffed dolls, like it's his collection. Alright, you do you. At least you're not Captain Boomerang with a unicorn fetish. So, they open up the portal, and Adebayo advised them to step back. But I think she should have known better. She saw just how powerful of a shockwave that thing caused, even when she was outside. But these guys, they're inside of a basement in a closed space. She should have known better. So the shockwave just completely sprays them with all of the cocaine that is inside of Adrian's basement. So now they're completely covered in that high quality, straight from the source, Colombian white powder. But now they need to go into the portal, go to the other world, and find Chris. So they step in, and, well, they walk around trying to find the right door. To where that alien from the other door comes out and burns a rat again. Eventually, they do find the other door, because it's signaled by other Peacemaker helmets. How are they gonna get in? Well, Adrian just knows the code for the door because it's the same as our Peacemaker's father. And it worked. The same code worked. They go through, but then they're caught by Keith. Or at least he catches Amelia. So she's trying to talk her way out of it. Like, Amelia, I thought you were with Chris. Like, no, I just took a shit in there. It's rancid. Don't go in there. Yeah, but I thought the two of you were together. Oh, no, he sent me back here to grab, this. Really? He wanted to give that to you? Yeah, he wanted me to have this at my desk, because, it's a snow globe, and when you shake it, the snow. And then Keith is just like, our mom gave that to us on her deathbed. So, I'm a little surprised he would give that to you. And this woman is a federal agent? Is a government agent? Because she folded under the pressure very quickly. Her poker face is atrocious. Because Keith is just like, hey, I was about to head over to Argus, where I thought you and Chris were heading to together. So, want a lift? Adebayo is signaling to her, advising her, no, don't go. But then she's just like, yeah, a lift, that'd be nice. So they now lost Amelia. She is out and about, alone in a foreign world. And then Adrian, Vigilante, he also leaves because he really, really wants to meet his doppelganger. So, as much as they advise him not to, he just leaves and goes ahead. Adebayo and Economos, they hear Eagly here. He made a mess with the fridge, so they had to clean it up. Well, more on them later. Let's see. Back in our world, Rick Flag Sr. gets a report from Flurry that they lost Peacemaker. They don't know where he is. Also, Harcourt and Economos are MIA. So he needs to think of something. Hilariously, Flurry does not leave him alone to think. He sits down right in front of him. He's just like, are you serious? I need to think alone, please. So, Rick, he comes up with something. He goes to Belle Reve to meet a prisoner. Ooh, I wonder who that prisoner is. Man, they even tried to play it coy. Like, we don't know who he is, who the prisoner is. When the prisoner showed up, they were trying to hide his face, hide his head. We know who he was. And then, it's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor makes a guest appearance. He walks with a cane now, too, so I guess that body slam by Superman did more damage to him than we thought. Or maybe Crypto. So yeah, the two of them strike a deal. Rick Flag Sr. tells Lex Luthor that he doesn't want another dimensional rift happening again. Oh yeah, he also mentions, like, have you ever heard of Peacemaker? Is he superpowered? No, he's just a clown in a costume. Okay, so I don't care. But yeah, they strike a deal. Lex has a dimensional portal detector, like GPS kind of gizmo. And in exchange, Rick Flag Sr. has arranged for him to be transferred to another prison. I assume somewhere that's better. I didn't pick up on the name of the other place. For the most part, that's it. That's it for Rick Flag Sr.'s story in this episode. So back in the, the Bizarro world. I'm kidding, it's not the Bizarro world. So when our Harcourt shows up to Argus, the dogs bark and sensors get tripped because she has cocaine on her. The dog barks at the presence of drugs. So she needs to get searched. Peacemaker shows up right as our Harcourt gets taken in. So he's allowed to speak with her. The two of them talk. Harcourt reveals why she's here, to bring him back. And then she finally reveals, Chris, you idiot. You really think I would sell you out to Argus? No, you had a gun pointed to you by a cyborg woman who had 99% lethal force put onto you. The only way she could save you, only way I could save you, Chris, was to knock you unconscious and turn you in. Chris finally in this episode just straight up says I love you to Amelia. As if we didn't know. But, he also didn't know that she and Rick Flag Jr. had a thing. So, he wants her to answer. He wants to know. Do you feel the same? Did anything that happened on that boat trip mean anything? But Amelia just rightfully is like, so my answer, if I say yes, you come back. If I say no, you stay here? Yeah, pretty much. Amelia, one reason why she doesn't want to get close to Chris is because she thinks of herself as broken. She doesn't have the emotional fortitude like Chris does towards her. Because, like she said herself, like Chris pointed out a couple episodes earlier, she goes into bars, she picks up fights just so she can feel something. But Chris, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about all that damage because he wants to be with her. Damn, if only someone would accept me for how broken I am. Anyways, she gets cleared of drugs so they're able to walk out. Ooh, the end of the episode, a lot of things happen. This was a pretty big ending. So, back with Economos and Adebayo, Leota wants to walk out, just go for a walk, clear her head. But Economos doesn't want to. He actually gets nauseous at the idea of how crazy everything is. How ridiculous is that? He was almost going to throw up because of how weird everything is. He's in a different dimension where the goddamn White Dragon is still alive. Remember, wait, no. He didn't kill White Dragon, but he did kill his followers. Some of them. So, Economos is not leaving. He doesn't want to leave the house, the residence. So, Leota goes out for a walk herself. This woman driving in a car gives her a death stare. People around the neighborhood are staring at her weirdly. Keith is driving back home, but then he spots Leota walking by. He slams on the brakes, steps outside, and just shouts, "One got out! A black!" And then everyone in the neighborhood is just like, "Get her! One escaped! Get her!" I imagine that was fun to film. I imagine they could not stop laughing when they filmed that. Imagine being around the area, not knowing they were filming a show. You just hear someone in the distance shouting, "One escaped! A black!" So, something's off about this universe. As Amelia and, our Harcourt and Chris are walking out of Argus, Amelia points out something feels strange about this place. I haven't seen a single person of color here since I got here. So, Chris, he goes up to one of the desks with the American flag on it, picks it up, looks at it. On the American flag, instead of 50 stars, there is a swastika. This is a Nazi Earth. I heard rumors beforehand that this Earth would be revealed to be Earth X or something of the sort. There you go. Even Chris is taken aback, like, oh shit. I may have everything here, my brother, my father, the woman I love, but this is a bad Earth. So, no wonder all those people were chasing Leota, literally chasing her down the street. There was a horde of people chasing her. If anything, I'm kind of surprised that the residents of this pretty bad Earth... Yeah, this thing isn't real. You called me a coward for potentially swapping games, seeing if my luck would be better. Oh, you finally got to that episode. But yeah, I'm surprised the people of this pretty bad Earth don't use their, like, Second Amendment and just unleash a bunch of bullets on her. But for us, that's a good thing. So, doppelganger Amelia shows up at Argus. They think it's strange because they just saw her in different clothes acting strange. And then she points out, guards, arrest that woman. That woman is not me. Uh-oh, things are getting pretty bad. And to make things worse, while Economos is at the house, August Smith shows up. The frickin' White Dragon. He is bad news. White Dragon is dangerous. He tries to hide, he tries to sneak away, but obviously White Dragon knows better. He turns around, throws a can at his head. As Economos tries to squirm away, he grabs a knife and just stabs him right through the hand. So, Augie asks, who are you? And Economos folds on the spot. I mean, to give him some credit, his hand did just get stabbed, but still, he folded on the spot. He's just like, my name is John Economos, I'm from a different universe, I'm here to get our friend Peacemaker, who's your son, but he's not really your son, because I guess he kind of killed your son and replaced him. I'm saying way too much, I shouldn't be saying all this. Dude just folded on the spot. If I were him, I would have just said stuff like, I'm friends with your son, I'm friends with your friend. What? I'm friends with your son, Chris, Peacemaker, I'm friends with him. I know him. It's like, what are you doing in my house? He invited me. He let me in. I was just super nervous to meet you because I love you so much. That kind of stuff. And you just stabbed me in the hand, man. So, yeah. They are on a Nazi Earth. Yeesh, tough luck, right? So, things are pretty bad. All of our characters are now in a rough spot. Now, rumors online about this being Earth X, I highly doubt it's the same Earth X we saw in the Arrowverse. Why do I say that? Because Peacemaker Season 1 technically is canon to the Arrowverse multiverse. Because Peacemaker Season 1 is in the DCEU, and the DCEU Flash showed up in Crisis on Infinite Earth, thus connecting them. So the DCEU is canon to the Arrowverse multiverse. And don't forget, we know for a fact that Titans is also in the multiverse. The episode with Beast Boy, he saw the Flash, and then he also saw Shazam. So yes, the movie, on 2 separate occasions, has been confirmed to be in the same multiverse as the Arrowverse. So that means the Earth X we saw in the Arrowverse is in the same multiverse as the DCEU. So, Peacemaker Season 2 not being canon to the Arrowverse, or frankly to Season 1, I highly doubt it would be the same Earth X. I mean, it could be, just with less of the pitch black skies, orange tint, you know? Could be just somewhere else on the same Earth. But infinite multiverse out there, that means there's an infinite number of Nazi Earths, right? So there's more than one Earth X. Man, I found it so stupid during the Crisis on Earth X crossover. The line where they said there are 52 Earths, and then Harry Wells is just like, there's a 53rd Earth, and it's called Earth X. Like, 52? The hell you mean 52? You yourself said earlier in the show there are infinite Earths. So where the hell did 52 come from? Talk about there are 52 Earths, actually. How stupid was that? Oh, if only the multiverse was real. If it was, I would jump ship from this universe in a heartbeat and find myself a better universe. I would. Preferably one that isn't in the middle of a Nazi Earth. You know what? I wouldn't even fit in a Nazi Earth anyways. I would have been executed on the spot. I think. But yeah, like I've said this whole season, if I found an Earth out there where I had the woman I love, I had all of my family, not like I don't have them now, but like I had my family who treats me good, I had everything I want, I'm popular, respected, there, hell yeah, I would jump ship, leave this universe behind in an instant. No hesitation. But I would need to find a world where everything is perfect. I have money, I have fame, I have recognition, I have people, you know, who care about me. Some of the finer details may not be necessary, like no woke, ever-infested Hollywood or the gaming industry. They have their budgets controlled, Decidui would be in Smash instead of Incineroar. All of those finer details may not be necessary. So, 2 episodes left of Peacemaker. Can't wait to see where it goes. Because, supposedly, I don't know exactly what happens in the finale. Something big happens in the Peacemaker finale that sets up, like, what's coming later on in the universe. I don't exactly know what's coming up. I purposely tried to avoid spoilers when the episode came out. But, you know, I hear... I mean, this is old news at this point. I hear that Peacemaker Season 2 was not received well, especially compared to Season 1. And it's been canceled. Like, we're not getting a Season 3. Which is a shame. Yeah, that is a shame. But it is what it is. You know, we are actually pretty lucky to even have this show. Like, Season 1 on its own was a very big, like, enigma in the whole movie space. Like, in the Hollywood space. You know the story of why the show even exists, right? Back when The Suicide Squad came out and lockdowns happened not long after, James Gunn didn't really have anything to do, so he went to work and just wrote up a script for a Peacemaker spin-off. He pitched it, it got greenlit, and now we're here. I mean, technically that news came out after... No, that news came out briefly before the film. So people are wondering, so Peacemaker's gonna survive the film? He got shot in the neck, so we assume he died, but then he was revealed alive in the post-credits. I wonder if they attached that, later in production, because they knew that they were going to have a Peacemaker spin-off. I feel like that probably wasn't initially in the film, but then the spin-off got greenlit, so they had to add it in. And I'm not too sure how I feel about the brand new Peacemaker suit. We didn't really see him suit up really at all this season. And the new suit he's wearing now is just his quote-unquote Earth X suit. It's much more refined, long sleeves. I'm not the biggest fan of the helmet. I kind of prefer the toilet seat helmet. Also, the red is muted too. The red is much darker. I kind of like the brighter red. Man, I also want to see more with the White Dragon of this world. Instead of a red suit, it's blue. To me, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, did you guys also hear the news that the villain for the Superman sequel is going to be Brainiac? Wasn't Brainiac planned to be the villain for Man of Steel 2? Well, it's not like we haven't seen this before in Hollywood, where the villain for an upcoming project just becomes the villain for the next iteration down the line. Remember how Spider-Man 4 wanted to use the Vulture? Well, we got the Vulture as a villain much later on. I think, yeah, they were also setting up Kurt Connors in one of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films too. And then the Lizard became the villain in the first new reboot. So anyways, now let's move on. Gen V Season 2 Episode 6. This episode was also pretty big. Like, we're getting into the territory where the season is about to wrap up, so they need to introduce some of the bigger plot lines, some of the plot twists that needs to be resolved by the end of the season. And, well, once we're done with Gen V Season 2, it's the waiting game for the 5th season and final season of The Boys. And then once that's out of the way, we have the other 2 spin-offs, Vought Uprising, as well as the Mexico Show. So let's see here. You know, from the previous episode, I completely forgot to mention that while they were in Elmira, they also walked right past the place where Andre died. That was kind of sad to see. As well as the fact that Polarity, he was at home looking at pictures of his family, who are all gone now. And then his brain kind of just blew up on him to where his Polarity powers just went crazy. So I forgot to mention those. Okay, so let's see. I believe this episode started with seeing Cypher. Was it? Whatever, if it didn't start like this, then at some point this happened. Cypher is back at home, helping his father, doing leg stretches, I guess getting the blood moving. But then he gets a call revealing to him that they escaped. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Whatever. So he gets a call saying that Marie and her friends, they escaped Elmira. So he furiously punches his father in the face. It's like, God damn, that's your father, man. It's like just punching him in the face out of rage. So we see our characters actually escape Elmira. They try to run for their lives as the alarm gets raised. Annabeth actually, turns out, she has soup powers. She's able to have kind of like That's So Raven powers, having brief glimpses of the future. Brief visions of what is about to happen. So instead of following them, trying to find a way out, she guides them instead, go this way, this way. She leads them to a dead end, but then she's just like, he's almost here, move back. Sam busts through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, and well, that just gave them a path out. They're able to get to the van and drive away. You know, they were debating, let's flee and head to Canada, but Annabeth super does not want to. So instead, they hunker down at this, like, abandoned library-looking place. I'm not exactly too sure where they went. Unless that was the same location in Season 1. And the same location... Wait, did they go there in Season 1? You know, the same location that Butcher met up with Victoria Newman. The place where Sam and Emma hooked up. Remember that decrepit place they were hiding out at? The place that Sam and Luke would be at. Anyways, maybe it's that place. So they hide out there, they get cleaned up. And then they discuss what their next plan is. Annabeth, she wants to leave and go back to Pam, but Marie urges her not to. You know another thing about these two? About Marie and Annabeth? I don't know. I feel like, couldn't they have cast someone who actually looked like Marie? The two of these do not look like sisters at all. Remember that one scene in Family Guy when Tom Tucker asked, if all of you are a family, why are none of you the same shade of black? Now, it is possible for siblings to be different shades, but I'm just saying, not only are they different shades, they don't look alike whatsoever. Whatsoever, they do not look alike at all. They couldn't have cast someone that even somewhat resembled Marie. Like, it's really hard for me to believe the two of these are sisters. Because they don't look alike whatsoever. Anyways, aside from that, Annabeth, she has powers. She hates having powers. She just wants to be human. Marie asks how long she had powers for, and she's just like, I don't know. My parents were dead before I got a chance to ask. I'm just thinking like, hey, that was a low blow. Now that you have powers, you should know better than anyone that what happened, what Marie did was an accident. Like, damn, I don't know why everyone is giving her such a hard time about this. What happened to Marie's parents was an accident. They should know better. Hell, they're not the only story out there. They're not the only case out there where a kid develops their powers and then their parents kind of just get caught in the crossfire. Remember that one episode of Diabolical? We see in the Rick and Morty art style, all of them wanted to get revenge on their parents for abandoning them and injecting them with Compound V. So, Sam and Emma, they try to contact Polarity. They notice, well, they try to find food, but then they notice a phone. So they try to contact Polarity, and Emma's just like, I don't know his number. Oh my god, I don't know anyone's number. Now, initially, yeah, that is a problem. If someone ever loses their phone, how the hell are they gonna call someone for help if they don't know anyone's numbers, if it's all on speed dial? Now, me personally, I have a handful of numbers seared into my mind. I will never forget them, like my parents' phone numbers, my sister's phone number. Maybe one or two of my friends' phone numbers, but that's about it. So, if I knew nobody's phone number, yeah, I would be screwed if I ever lost my phone. So instead of using the landline, what she does is she goes onto the computer, because turns out they got Wi-Fi there. She logs onto this, like, online messenger kind of thing, and then she's able to message, not Polarity, straight up. She's able to message Allie. While looking at Emma's contacts, Sam is just like, who's Greg? That was his name. The name of Allie's brother. He's just like, who's Greg? Hey, while we're messaging Allie, let's message Greg as well. Is he like a nice guy? Damn, I think to myself, if I was in Sam's position, yeah, that would be pretty rough. So, we see that Polarity has woken up in his bed. But Cypher is there. Cypher is there. Polarity isn't strong enough to get up and hit him, or even just get up in general. Polarity is just like, you're going to do what I say, right? Because all I want is Marie back. I don't care about the others, I just want Marie back. Because she can fix everything. At this moment, I kind of thought he wanted Marie to get stronger to heal his father. I thought that's where this was going. Because we saw in the last episode, Marie can literally cure death as if she was blood work. So I thought he wanted Marie to get strong enough to heal his father. But it's revealed later on that's not the case. So, when Allie calls Professor Polarity being like, hey, Emma and her friends are in trouble, Cypher takes control of Polarity's mind, not really mind, but body, and just like, tell me, do you know where they are now? So he did the whole meat puppet thing again on Polarity. And then later in the episode, it's revealed what Cypher wants. He mentions how for some species in the world, and this is a true thing, because I know for a fact it's the case for, like, salmon, sometimes you cull the population on purpose for the betterment of the population overall. Like, if there's too many, there's too much competition, not enough need for reproduction, right? Kind of like for salmon or other animals out there. You cull the herd, you thin out the herd, you strategically kill a handful so that way the population is a little bit lower, thus incentivizing the animals to reproduce and keep the population healthy. So you remove a few to make the overall stronger. And that is Cypher's plan. He wants to cull the school of the weak. Only the strong soups will remain and make it better. Sounds like a Viltrumite, doesn't it? Sounds like exactly what the Viltrumites did, didn't it? He wants only the strongest of the strong soups to remain. And the weak ones, well, it's just natural selection, baby. So when when Cypher tries to control Polarity's body again, Polarity is like body shaking seems to have transferred to Cypher as well. And then Polarity lets off a big sonic boom, big shockwave that launches Cypher out, and then he disappears. Now that has me thinking. Even Cypher was surprised by that. He's just like, what the fuck? Why is my hand shaking while your hand is shaking? I'm kind of thinking, does it go both ways? Cypher is able to control the body of someone else, but if that person regains control and the connection is still active, would that person's movement would then be able to control Cypher's movements? I wonder. So now that Allie has revealed the location of everyone to Polarity and thus to Cypher, Cypher sends the Viking quote-unquote professor, helper, whatever, to go after them. So the Viking shows up, they try to fight. Sam tries to fight him one-on-one. You would think it would be a more even match, considering Sam is quite powerful. But no, he kind of gets thrown around like a rag doll pretty easily, showing the sheer strength of the Viking. Yeah, they try to fight him off. Eventually Marie runs outside, and then Jordan goes outside trying to help Marie. And then the Viking shows up. They're about to throw hands. But then someone shows up to fight the Viking for them. The Viking turns around, and it's Zoe Newman. She's just standing there for some reason. The Viking thinks nothing of it. He's just like, run along, little girl. This is about to get messy. And we already know that Zoe, she is pretty deadly when she wants to be. Her mouth tentacles come out and just rip the Viking's head off. Rather painfully, too. Straight for the eyes and then rips off from the jaw. Woohoo! But still, a bloody, gruesome death is nothing compared to some of the Walking Dead deaths I have seen. Doesn't even faze me anymore. You know, one death that I completely forgot about, I rewatched, and I'm like, God damn, that is pretty brutal. The episode where we see Alpha's backstory, where she met Beta for the first time, there was a woman who first had her leg bitten, and it was a pretty big chunk bitten off. And then, you know, her abdomen was being ripped open. And then a walker went for her face. Not only bit her nose off, but then also, like, ripped her jaw off, too. It's like, oh, that's brutal. That is hard to watch. Not none of this, like, baby shit on The Boys and Gen V. This doesn't even flinch me. Anyways, so Zoe destroyed the Viking, and then Stan Edgar shows up for some reason. Stan Edgar shows up, and then he offers them sanctuary. Marie's just like, you take me, you take everyone. So Stan Edgar takes them to his top secret underground bunker, where even he hides, he uses to hide from Homelander. So they go to his place, they get cleaned up. Zoe is also hilariously just chill and nonchalant about not only ripping off the Viking's head, but also being covered in blood, and she's just like, okay, all done, let's go home. Yay! She just like hops back home after ripping a man's head off. So they show up at Stan Edgar's underground oasis, you could say, because damn, that place is pretty luxurious. Hidden, secret, deep underground. Nice. He said there's like a giant, thick metal barrier that prevents any X-ray vision from seeing in. Nice, nice. You work with Homelander, you have precautions. It's very Batman of him, doesn't it? So, while they get cleaned up, while they settle down, you know, they're on edge. They're wondering, like, since Stan Edgar is Vought, he was the head of Vought, he wants something. He's playing them for something. This is a trap. But eventually, they kind of grow a little bit of trust. Just a little bit. Not fully, though. So we see that Sam and Emma, they clean up. Sam talks to Emma and apologizes to her. I need to do that too. And he's just, you know, he takes accountability, which, good. Good for him. And then he offers, like, maybe we can't go back to a year ago where the two of us, we were in a good spot together. Maybe we could try again. Seems like Sam wants to try again with Emma, but Emma seems like she's moved past Sam. She's not really interested anymore. But who knows? Maybe the spark will be rekindled. But we'll have to see. Anyway, so Stan Edgar makes some food, makes him a frittata, asks if anyone can dice a tomato. How much did he say he spent? He said he spent a super big amount of money on someone to teach him how to cook. And he rarely has guests over, so he can never really show off his cooking skills. I'm just like, bruh. Bruh. You don't need to spend shit to learn how to cook. Like, come on, man. Fucking hell. So, Stan Edgar reveals that what Cypher is doing at Godolkin is mirroring what Thomas Godolkin tried to do. He tried to make super soups, like way more powerful soups, god-tier soups, as he put it. But it was, the project was closed down, quote-unquote Project Odessa. Only so many survivors happened. Everyone else died. Only 2 survivors happened. So the way the process works was the fetus was injected with a different dose of Compound V at some stage into pregnancy. I forget what stage or what it's called. All the other test subjects died. However, only 2 survived. Marie is one of them, and the only other one who survived in the early 80s. Homelander. Only 2 survived. So there are only 2 god-tier soups on Earth. Homelander and Marie. That's a pretty big deal. Anyway, so Project Odessa was closed down, but Cypher reopened it trying to recreate what Thomas Godolkin did. Stan Edgar also mentioned that there were rumors that Thomas Godolkin may still be alive out there, because they never found his body. They claim he died in an explosion, you know, the explosion we saw at the beginning of the season. They claim he died from an explosion, but his body was never found. So, there are rumors that he could still be alive out there. Jordan and Kate, they realize, oh shit, could that be? What? Cypher has a really old, burnt-up dude in his house. He claims it's his dad, but maybe it's not his dad at all. Oh shit! That may not be his father at all. That might be the still alive Thomas Godolkin, who is like 100 years old at this point. So this changes everything. Thomas Godolkin may be alive, and he's been feeding Cypher everything that he knew and tried to do with the Odessa project. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Alright, so they now have a plan. The starting of a plan. Stan Edgar wants to go to where Cypher is, wants to find out for himself if that really is Thomas Godolkin. And if that is, then Godolkin himself would be able to do the opposite. Reverse engineer the whole Odessa thing. Find a way to not only stop Cypher, but also maybe Homelander as well. Well, they still need to think of the plan, fine-tune the edges, or, yeah. They go to sleep, but then Marie, she just can't sleep. She gets up, cries a tear, and then, you know, looks back at everyone she's leaving behind, and she leaves. She leaves on her own, and Kate follows her. Kate claims, you can fix me, Marie, you can fix my powers, and then I can use them to help you against Cypher. And then there's a silent agreement like, okay, you can come and help me. They walk off into the night, and then the episode ends. Pretty big revelations this episode. Pretty big. Thomas Godolkin is alive. Marie should be on the same strength level as Homelander himself, but she is still in the process of reaching her full potential. You know, in a way, Marie would be able to stop Homelander. She would. She could just simply, I don't know, drain him of all his blood from just a single cut. There's that. You know, she could control Homelander's movement because last I checked, he has blood inside of him. I don't know if she necessarily could blow up his head. It was even hinted that Victoria Newman couldn't. But like, why would that matter, right? Can't they just make his brain into mush like the way Black Bolt did to himself when he lost his mouth? It's kind of like what Frenchie discovered for Translucent. Homelander's exterior may be impenetrable, indestructible. Homelander's skin wouldn't even char at extreme temperatures inside of the oven. But his insides are squishy and soft like the rest of us. So if Marie simply put all of Homelander's organs into a blender with her blood mage powers, and Homelander would be done for on the spot. So, yeah. At the moment, it kind of seems like Homelander has no chance against Marie, let alone Omni-Man. You know, a lot of big episodes to talk about today. A lot of big episodes, because the Hazbin Hotel episode was also pretty big, too. So, Hazbin Hotel, Season 2, Episode 6. The way we start off, we actually open the episode with a musical, where the citizens of Hell are celebrating Vought's... Wait, what? Vox says victory, his quote-unquote victory over Alistair, even if it was a technicality. So we see Vox is rallying up a big horde of sinners, and he's about to put on a show for them. We see Charlie, her trying to signal up to heaven, trying to get Emily's attention to talk to her, which, like, I can't believe Charlie actually thought that works, you know, given how far heaven is. But to my surprise, later in the episode, it turns out Emily actually saw her signals. They were just stuck in a board meeting to see if they could go down and talk to her or not. So yeah, Charlie is trying her damnedest to signal up to heaven to get Emily's attention. Vaggie, you know, she was given control of the hotel in the moment while Charlie's busy. So, Vaggie, she tries to, you know, she just leaves Charlie alone to do her thing. Vaggie tries to think of a way to help Charlie with Vox, and she comes up with an idea. She goes to the big man himself. She goes straight to Lucifer. And even Lucifer kind of seems powerless to do anything. Vaggie's just like, you know, Vox has been kind of slandering the hotel's name, kind of been being mean to Charlie, and Lucifer's just like, what? Even Lucifer said, though, like, the thing is, I'm kind of just banished down here, so I can't really touch sinners, I can't do anything to them. You know, I kind of just stay away from them, because sinners, they're bad, they smell. But then, the thing that really made Lucifer actually jump into action was Vaggie saying, I would ask Alistair for help, but he's kind of gone right now. Lucifer's just like, what? Alistair? No, let's get one thing straight. I can do anything better than Alistair. And then, Lucifer goes to where Vox is. Yeah, that was a smart idea. I'm not gonna lie, like, later on, I'm not the hugest fan of how Lucifer is depicted, but we'll get to that. So, up in heaven, they have a board meeting. Sarah, Lute, Abel, they're having a meeting, like, what to do with hell. Emily shows up and even invites Penchus. And Emily insists that Penchus stays for the meeting. They want to go down to hell and apologize for all the bloodshed that they caused, and even offer a sorry gift basket. But hey, it has really good, taffies in them. So they go down to hell. They meet with They meet with Charlie, who at first isn't even sure if they're real or not, because she's just like, am I dehydrated, or are you guys really here? Man, the whole time you see Lute just really didn't want to be there in the presence of those filthy, disgusting sinners. You know, I've had Gravity stuck in my head for a while now. That is such a banger of a song. Anyway, so Charlie tells them that, hey, Vox, he has a group rally together. We can go to them and make a public apology. And also just set the record straight that Penchus is alive up in heavens. redemption is real. So, over where Vox is at, with the V's, you know, he's still bragging to Alistair, and it also seems like Valentino is kind of starting to realize that Vox ain't shit. Like, he kind of sucks to be around. He ain't friendly, he ain't thoughtful. He doesn't care. He only cares about himself. So it seems like Valentino is starting to realize that Vox, he ain't really shit. Like, why am I hanging with this guy? He's kind of a turd. Alright, so when Vox is on stage presenting to his big rallied crowd, he actually gets cut off by Lucifer. Lucifer shows up, crashing the party, sings a song, and I kind of thought that was a badass show of power. You know? I kind of thought so, but sadly Vox wasn't fazed. Lucifer showing off that, you know, he is still in charge, he is the king of hell. But Vox actually challenges him. Actually challenges his position of power. Pisses off Lucifer too, where he calls him a filthy, good-for-nothing mortal. And he's just like, damn, he even brought out the big guns too, like the real stingers of one-liners. Like, even your wife knew that you ain't anything. That's why she left. God damn, Vox. That takes balls to say to Lucifer himself. I thought Alistair was pretty ballsy to challenge Lucifer in Season 1. But this, Vox has no chill challenging Lucifer. And what I don't like is the depiction of the fact that Lucifer is pretty powerless. He doesn't really command shit in hell. And that's kind of what I don't like about this depiction of Lucifer. He doesn't really have any influence over his sinners whatsoever. So, Lucifer actually gets embarrassed off the stage. He gets booed off the stage, and I'm just like, brother, I would not take that level of disrespect. I am goddamn Lucifer. I am your king. Who the hell are you booing at? Lucifer actually did have a flaming fist about to punch Vox as if he was Liu Kang to Shao Kahn. But he stops himself. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he said earlier that he kind of isn't allowed to touch sinners, kind of that thing. Or he just doesn't want to. I don't know. It kind of feels pretty stupid for there to be some sort of divine rule that Lucifer can't lay hands on sinners. Oh, but then the exterminators, they are able to just kill sinners every year, it seems, but not Lucifer? Are you kidding me? So Lucifer gets embarrassed off the stage. Vox, everything is going Vox's way. Everything is going too perfectly. Vox just humiliated the king of hell off stage, and he's just like, look, this is your leader? No, we need a new, strong leader. Me! And then the archangels show up, where they try to apologize to the crowd, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of side with everything Vox said this time. He's just like, all of your senseless violence, all the bloodshed from our sinner brethren, for who knows how many years, every extermination, we lost thousands, and you want to apologize with gift baskets? That's all our lives are worth to the angels, sinners, nothing but gift baskets. So, yeah, I kind of side with everything Vox said here. So we see Hell's uprising happening on the spot. It not only pisses off Lute, who already didn't want to be there, it also pissed off Sarah to the point where she shows her true form as if she was a freaking Bakugan. And then she just says the worst possible thing she could have. Literally the worst possible thing. She said something along the lines of like, insubordinate sinners. This is why I authorized the extermination in the first place. All of you violent and attention hungry or whatever. Not attention, but power hungry. And literally everything done, Vox is able to spin. It's like, you idiots. You absolute idiots. It's actually pretty well written if you think about it. Vox is just like, you hear that, folks? Sinners, she admitted it. Right there. She feels nothing for us. She actually, was for the exterminations of our souls. And then we actually get this, like, pretty badass tune of Vox singing and declaring war on heaven. There's a straight-up declaration of war between heaven and hell in this episode. So the angels, they retreat back to heaven, realizing, oh, they fucked up. Like, what do we do now? Hell just straight up declared war on heaven. And, I kind of wonder if what I've been saying is going to come true. I've been saying that, what's between heaven and hell? Earth. And if there is a war between the two realms, Earth is caught in the middle. Earth will just be a battleground where a ton of casualties will happen. So I really wonder, really wonder, if a full-blown war between the two realms takes place, will Earth be caught in the crossfire? And I can already see it. The next episode, because this wasn't in this episode, the next episode, Lute is gonna gloat about this. She's gonna be like, ha! I told you, those filthy sinners, we have to exterminate them. We were right. The sinners are uprising. We exterminating them was good. Let me continue to slaughter them. I imagine Lute is gonna gloat to high heaven about that, like she was saying she was right. But then, I can also see the fact that maybe Sarah would be like, no, we caused this. Because we did the extermination. We kind of initiated their thirst for revenge and declaring war. Because I've been saying this from the start too. Wouldn't attacking hell wage war more than anything? Sure, there may have been a possibility that some sinners had the idea in mind, hey, what if we attacked and took over heaven? Maybe some sinners could have thought that, but how would they have actually done it, right? It's hell. There's no way to get up to heaven. So you exterminated them with the guise of population control, when really you just wanted to snuff them out before they got the idea to create an uprising. It's like, you idiots. If anything, you initiated the war. Because you struck first. So yeah, next episode, I can definitely see there being some sort of like conflict argument between Lute and Sarah. Lute is all in for war, but then Sarah tries her best to de-escalate, try to think of a solution to maybe stop the war before it starts. Every time someone tries to stop a war before it starts, innocent people die. Every time. So anyways, hell is rallied up. They are ready to wage war on heaven. I still kind of question how they're even going to get up there, because don't forget, heaven is on lockdown. Even if heaven wasn't on lockdown, how would they get up there to begin with? They may swarm the hotel, actually. They could do that. Thinking like, Princess, you have to redeem us so that we can get up to heaven and start slaughtering those archangels. But it's like, that's not how redemption works. That's not how getting into heaven works. So anyways, the Archangels are gone, and then Vox spills the beans to Charlie that her father showed up and made things worse. So Charlie is all pissed off at her father. Charlie stomps back to the hotel where she gets pissed at not only Lucifer but also Vaggie. Because Vaggie, in a way, kind of went behind Charlie's back to bring in Lucifer's intervention without consulting her. But then the two of them are mad because Vaggie has had it with Charlie's actions borderline sinking the hotel. Because she's kind of right. Everything Charlie has done has kind of done that. And not gonna lie, Lucifer did kind of just make everything worse. He had good intentions, but still. I feel like Lucifer should have imposed more power. He's the goddamn king of hell. If anything, they should have maybe taken inspiration from the Lucifer TV show. I know they're two different continuities, which coincidentally, both characters are named Lucifer Morningstar. I still don't know where Morningstar came from. I know Samael means Morningstar, but like, why is that his last name? Why is not Samael, but literally the word Morningstar his last name? In both iterations. I don't think necessarily it's written anywhere in the Bible. Lucifer's last name printed outright is Morning Star. At least I couldn't find it. So anyways, yeah. In the Lucifer TV show, he's able to incinerate demons for disobeying his command. Like with Dromos, he could have incinerated him for disobeying his orders. No more possessions. I don't know. I feel like Lucifer should have more of a power creep compared to the rest of hell, the rest of the sinners, the rest of the overlords. If anything, overpowering Lucifer should be straight up impossible. But Lucifer just got booed off stage. Like, what the hell, man? There was also the small scene in the episode that's not really worth mentioning. Baxter tries to, take notes of Husker's therapy session. Not really that important. So yeah, yet again, another big episode. Hell straight up declared war. And everything's looking pretty bad. There's only 2 episodes left. Oh, you want to know what I found out in Hell of a Boss? I haven't started watching that yet. But still, I found out that in Hell of a Boss, Satan is a character. So that straight up confirms Lucifer and Satan are separate entities in this continuity. And I'm just thinking, weren't they always separate beings? I hear conflicting stuff about this guy right here, the devil, who refuses to be shiny. I hear iterations where Lucifer and Satan are the same being, and then I hear where they're separate. I'm just like, weren't they always separate? I always saw them as separate. You know what's funny about the Arrowverse? Once again, bringing up the Arrowverse. We know that the Lucifer TV show is canon, so Lucifer right there. But then on Legends of Tomorrow, we saw Constantine go to hell and literally meet Satan himself, as well as Beelzebub and the other character. I forget who he was. So, while different continuities, different studios, different writers. Well, for us the fans, they are canon and they exist. Arrowverse, DC Multiverse, not only Lucifer, but Satan also exists. For God's sake, we saw God himself. Think about that. Every time you watch Arrow or The Flash, just know, we've seen what God looks like. Yeah, he showed up on Lucifer. God straight up. Not only that, God retired. And then Amenadiel took God's place. It's still kind of funny to think that on Lucifer... Oop. I even charged this before I started, too. It's kind of funny to think that on Lucifer, he kind of confirmed what the Big Bang even was. His father, God, and his mother, the goddess of creation, they met. They fell in love. They had sex. And then that sex resulted in the Big Bang. So, canonically, the DC Multiverse, the Big Bang was God's climax. Ain't that funny to think about? I swear I'm the only person on the planet who thought about that when watching the entire Arrowverse. Oops. Maybe this is why I'm single. No, there's a whole laundry list of other reasons why, other issues of why I'm single. I'm really debating swapping over to Ultra Sun, because this bastard does not want to be shiny. Like, come on, I got other things to shiny hunt. I can't be stuck on this thing forever. The DLC is coming out in 3 weeks. Well, after this, I'm gonna work on my shiny charm in ZA. Probably gonna watch an episode or two. Tomorrow morning, my mom wants us to wake up early to go for morning dim sum. You know, that morning dim sum, as Asians pronounce it. I am so glad I don't have a Chinese accent. Well, no shiny tonight again. I'll see you next time.